We are live. I think we're live on YouTube, and we're going to go live on Facebook as well. Welcome to the Chuck Jones Show. Anchor's saying, ready for Chuck's political roundup. Got big political news. Got big political news tonight, do we? Do we?
Me?
Yeah, you.
That's up to you. I got nothing political.
Really? There's a surprise.
Are you surprised?
I'm shocked.
You know, sometimes I shock my own self.
Well, that's called static electricity.
That's right. Exactly. But
everyone's got a big butt.
It feels good on the inside, to be honest.
It feels good on the inside, he said. All right. Well, welcome to our YouTube audience. Michelle and Anchor are here already. Just the greatest. And a Carlisi Games with the LMA 0000.
That's me.
Yeah. So,
I forgot to switch over to my CK Reviews account, but hey, that's just promoting my gaming channel. It has 2 videos and 1 subscriber.
Nice. I mean, you can't beat that.
No,
I mean, I got like 15 videos and 9 subscribers. So
I got a long way to go.
Yeah. So yeah, there's that. So tonight we're gonna talk about stuff, but we're gonna do some fun stuff. We'll talk about Cam Newton signing with the New England Patriots. Yeah, and we'll talk about the end of the world as we know it, and
the end of the.
And we'll talk about what we've been talking about the whole time the show has been on the air, and that is the coronavirus.
Yeah.
Get some help.
So welcome, YouTube and Facebook. I don't know if anybody's on Facebook yet, but we're going to go ahead and start this shoe. So we're going to go live on Podbean. All quiet on the set. I'm going to bring up this window here. And here we go.
It is Wednesday, my dudes.
Listening to The Chuck Jones Show. Talk radio just for you. This is an iHeartRadio podcast. And now, quarantined away somewhere in Northeast Ohio, live from the Discount Wheelie Studio, here's your hosts, Chuck Jones and Steve.
I always like the way he says, and Steve. Mm-hmm. You know, I feel like it's, it's giving you a nice billing.
I like
so to speak. And Steve. Mm-hmm. So
it's kind of like he put a little stank on it, is what they call it.
A little smack in the ass.
Yeah, that's right. A little stank on it.
All right, welcome to the Chuck Jones Show. This is episode 15 of our 15-part series, known as The End of the World as We Know It. So this is the last episode. No more shows after this. I'm just kidding. So we are live on Podbean, on the Podbean app, and we have Joseph B., I believe, has entered the studio. Hopefully Rest Stop will show up. We got the usual suspects, Michelle on YouTube and Anchor. Thanks for joining us. And we have Lita on Facebook, and hopefully our other Facebook fans will show up. And Steve, do you remember 2 weeks ago?
Oh yeah, of course. 2 weeks ago. I don't know where this is going.
You remember 2 weeks ago, the last time you were on the show, because you weren't here last week, other than the phone call, where you maliciously accused me of replacing you.
I was very malicious.
With Tim Storm, who just happened to stop by to pick up his bullets.
Now, does he go by Mr. Tim or Mr. Storm?
Mr. Storm. He likes Mr. Storm. So
good.
If you ever meet him on the street, be respectful. So anyway, no, 2 weeks ago, I said, I don't know what I want to do with this show. I think I might go all politics And basically, I know I would lose, 4 of the 5 fans that I have, and I might gain a couple that might replace those. But here's what I decided to do, Steve. Drum roll, please.
Okay.
Drum roll, please. No drum roll. I got this. I could do this. Could do this. I decided because I got a text message the next day from one of the gold members, and he said, hey, you don't have to go all politics. You can just stay current events. That's what the show is. And then you're obviously going to talk about some current events, which is what's going on. So I agreed with him. So I back off my all political thing, but obviously we're still going to talk about some of this stuff. It's kind of hard not to, right? It's kind of hard not to. There's, major things going on in the world. It's kind of hard to just ignore them. Like Kanye running for president, right?
That's right.
Right. How do you just gloss over that without talking about it? And how do you not talk about our newest gold member, Michelle from Facebook? Yay. Wow. Who's not on right now, but I won't hold that against her.
Wow.
As long as her checks keep clearing.
That's right.
Yeah, if you happen to want to be a gold member of the show, you go to chuckjonesshow.com and click the buttons and donate your money, and you're a gold member. Or you can just listen every single week, and we'll make you an honorary gold member, like Michelle and Anchor over on YouTube.
That's right.
So
Michelle says nothing will replace her. She's right.
Nothing. That's right. Nothing can replace her. She is irreplaceable, and I would say that 70% of my decision not to go all politics was based on her. And
70%?
A huge percentage. I'm thinking I can't lose my best fans just because I want to rant and rave for the full hour. But I am going to rant and rave for some of the hours. So.
Yeah.
Anyway, if you are listening and you can join our conversation once we get rolling here on Podbean, you'll have to figure out how to do it. That's up to you. Or you can just call us on a regular old phone at 330-474-9833. Again, that's 330-474-9833, toll free in the continental United States. That's if you have a cell phone.
Wow.
I'm old enough to remember the days where if it wasn't 1-800 or 188, it was going to cost you money.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
Yeah, now if you get a cell phone, you can call anywhere, any number in the United States. It doesn't cost you anything extra other than what you already pay.
Right.
Obviously, for your service. So, Kanye. Wow. Why is he running for president? Does anyone know? You don't know. Did you even know he was running?
Yeah.
What do you think about it?
I'm always up on current events. Is that even a question?
Are you a Kanye fan?
I don't flock to his music because I'm a big John Mayer fan, but there's occasions where maybe I want to listen to some Power or something like that.
His stuff's all right. I'm not a big rap fan. Like, if I'm gonna get into rap music, it's got to have some heavy overtones, like rock, kind of like metal. You know what I mean? If it's just a straight rap, like Snoop Dogg and all that stuff, I might like a song or two off of an album.
What about Linkin Park when they did a song with Jay-Z?
Yeah, see, that's good. I like that.
Gotcha.
I like that. And I like some of Linkin Park's other stuff too. But I'm definitely not opposed to rap or hip hop, but it's not the top of my list. So I don't really listen to any of his music. But he was a big Trump supporter when it first started. So everybody's, on social media trying to figure out what the hell he's doing. Is he trying to hurt Trump? Is he trying to help Trump? Today he came out and said he's no longer supporting Trump, which if you're running for president against him, you would have to say that, wouldn't you?
I'm pissed off.
Anchor says Kanye is running to pull the black vote and help Trump. Do you think the black people that I hate Trump can't figure that out? You know what I mean? Because I've heard that theory before, and I thought, I think if you really hate Trump so bad that you're going to vote for Biden, I don't know that you're going to vote for Kanye. So.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see what happens. But I mean, the only thing he got for him is that he won't die in the next year or two.
Right. I think it's more like I think he's just I think he might really be interested in running in 2024. So he's just kind of throwing out that
Getting his feet wet.
trial balloon, to see how well he might do, and maybe he thinks he might pull some of the black vote away from Biden for Trump. But again, I think the black people that hate Trump and are going to vote for Biden they're not going to be that easily. They know that every vote for Kanye is really a vote for Trump.
Yeah,
because it's just a vote that Biden doesn't get.
But the real question is, when is The Rock going to?
The Rock should run. I'd vote for him. I'd vote for The Rock.
I'd vote for The Rock too.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
So yep. Speaking of black guys who play quarterback,
Kanye.
We got to talk about Cam Newton signing with the New England Patriots because Michelle, was begging for that last week while Tim Storm and I were talking about guns and all the guns we were buying and all the ammo we're getting. And
is he even good? Is he even good enough for that? For it to be such a big news like it is?
Well, Cam Newton was good enough. He was really good. But he's had a lot of injuries the past couple of years, a lot. So, his value has went down. Anchor says he's no longer current. It's one of those things. He could bounce back, under the right system, maybe with Bill Belichick and what he's got going in New England. Maybe Cam could be a good option. I'd like to see him succeed. It'd be great. I've always been a big fan of his. Did a lot of great things in Carolina. Went to the Super Bowl.
Now, didn't they go to the Super Bowl?
They did.
Once.
Yep. Lost to my Broncos.
Ah.
That's right, baby.
The old Bronx.
Lost to the Broncos.
That's what they call them out on the street, the Bronx.
The Bronx. I think that's what they call us, part of New York. But basically, he agreed to a...
Whoa!
What?
I saw your helmet. Sorry. I'm sorry.
Oh, the delay.
That threw me off.
Yeah. Newton signed to a 1-year, $1.05 million deal.
Oh, that's lame.
Yeah, well, that's what happens when you're injury prone. You look like you've went off the edge where you were, and the team you're with doesn't want you anymore, so they're willing to give you up. But hey, it would not be the first time that the Patriots have signed a washed-up player who gave them some great years. I mean, Randy Moss is a great example of that. Great example. I mean, some of Randy Moss's best years were in New England, which is saying a lot. So, I'm excited. Excited to see that. I'm excited to see Tom Brady wearing a Bucks jersey. I know Michelle's probably going to cry a little bit about that. But now, of course, we got to talk about this. Have you heard, Steve, that all this stuff going on in the country and all these companies and institutions trying to implement things to pacify certain groups in the country that are speaking up right now in protest against things real and unreal? Did you hear that the NFL in Week 1 is, well, first of all, a lot of players and full teams have said they're going to kneel during the national anthem.
Okay.
Now, they've been doing that for, 3 years now? Colin Kaepernick started it a couple years ago, and it kind of got to the point where no one was paying any attention. Like, the NFL wasn't even putting the camera on those guys when they were kneeling. So if you watched an NFL game, you wouldn't even know they were doing it anymore.
Right.
But obviously, with everything that's going on, it's got all ramped back up now. So one of the things the NFL has decided to do to pacify everyone that they think will pacify everyone is Week 1 of the NFL season, they're going to play, before the national anthem, they're going to play the black people's anthem.
Ah, okay.
And
so lift your voice, whatever?
I don't even... is that what it is?
I think it is.
Lift your voice?
Lift every voice.
Lift every voice. So you've heard of it?
I believe so, yeah.
So do you feel like that's the black African Americans' national anthem?
I think every time I've gone to some type of Black History Month program or something like that, they would sing that song.
Yeah. I'm ashamed to say I haven't done any research on it. I'm interested in finding out more about it, and I will do some more research on it because it's interesting to me. Because when I think of, if a group of people in this country had their own anthem, I would think it would be old, like a couple hundred years old, or 200 years ago or whatever. But I'm guessing this is probably fairly recent, right? The song. Or do you have any idea?
The song is old, I think.
Yeah. Well, let's look it up.
I've never. I mean, I've heard it and never thought of it to be that song until at my current job, where we would go to different Black History programs, and they're like, "Okay, let's stand and sing the Black National Anthem." I was like, "Oh, okay."
They call it a national anthem?
That's what they say, the Black National Anthem.
So how long has that been referred to as the Black National Anthem? I mean, in your life.
I'm just finding out a couple of years
couple years ago. So it's not something you were raised with.
No, I mean, I've heard it, but I've never heard it referred to that until a couple of years ago.
Well, let's look at it here. Lift Every Voice and Sing, often referred to as the Black National Anthem in the United States.
I was right.
Yes, you were. Kudos to you, sir. Kudos to you.
Thank you.
Is a song written as a poem by James Weldon Johnson, who lived from 1871 to 1938. He wrote it in 1900 and set it to music by his brother J. Rosamond Johnson in 1905. So it's old.
Yeah.
Not as old as the American national anthem. But Lift Every Voice and Sing was publicly performed first as a poem as a part of a celebration of Abraham Lincoln's birthday. We're tearing down statues of Abraham Lincoln, but that's a different story. Celebration of Abraham Lincoln's birthday by his brother John. In 1919, the National Association for the Advancement of Colored People, you might know as the NAACP. I always thought that was a cool acronym. Like, some acronyms just don't work. That one always rolled. NAACP.
Yeah, roll the tongue.
Yeah, it works. Dubbed it the Negro National Anthem for its power in voicing a cry for liberation and affirmation for African American people. The song is a prayer of thanksgiving for faithfulness and freedom, with imagery evoking the biblical exodus from slavery to the freedom of the Promised Land, which, if you know anything about the biblical exodus from slavery, it was Jews. Jews being enslaved by Egyptians a long time ago. It is featured
before I was born.
A little bit before I was born, too.
Oh, you too?
Yeah. It is featured in 39 different Christian hymnals and is sung in churches across North America. In 1939, Augustus Savage received a commission from the New York World's Fair and created a 16-foot plaster sculpture called Lift Every Voice and Sing. Savage did not have funds to have it cast in bronze or move it and store it. Like other fair temporary installations, the sculpture was destroyed at the close of the fair. That's too bad. So anyway, they're going to play that song. From what I've heard, they said the first week of the NFL season, at every game, they'll play that before the regular national anthem.
Interesting. I wonder if they will kneel during that.
I wonder. Who would kneel? I mean, African. Say if any white people kneel, they're probably going to be murdered, or at least they'll lose their jobs or whatever. So So my question is, okay, does that mean that nobody should kneel during the regular anthem because we gave you an anthem to stand for? Does that mean that they won't kneel for the regular anthem, or why would the NFL do this? I mean, I guess
they're trying to appease both crowds or something like that.
Well,
maybe.
Regardless of what someone is misinformed about, the Star Spangled Banner is the country's national anthem that everyone falls under. Everyone, regardless of your race, creed, or ideology. So if we're going to have two anthems, what's next? We're going to have two locker rooms? Are we going to have different water fountains? What are we rolling the clock back to the 1940s? Jeez.
That's cool. I wonder. There's a funny South Park episode about this when it first started, the kneeling, and they I forgot how it went, but they were like they they started to play the national anthem, and they were like, "Okay, everyone, kneel for the anthem." And the whole football stadium was like, "What?"
Well, we could turn the table on Colin Kaepernick and make it respectful to kneel. Then he'd have to stand up, and we'd be like, "Psych, nope, we're standing."
Got him.
Because the people in the stands can't kneel,
Right.
and there's not enough room. Brian has joined us on Facebook. Thanks, Brian. And Brian said, "Whatever we did with the volume worked. You're both at a nice volume." Yes.
Look at that.
It's finally
dude.
some good news. And if we can get through this whole show without it dropping out, we'll be gold. So if there's any problems, it's going to be over on YouTube. It keeps telling me it's going to buffer. So hang in there, YouTube fans. And
I'm proud of you.
Thanks for joining us, Brian. Thanks, Lita. And I'm missing Gloria and Michelle over on Facebook. So might have to give them a hard time if they don't show up here pretty soon. So anyway, yeah, speaking of Cam Newton and this deal, what's his face? What's his face? Oh, geez. My memory is lacking. Who's the quarterback for the Kansas City Chiefs?
Patrick Mahomes?
Yeah. He just signed a new deal. Ridiculously big deal.
500 something?
Like $500 million. I'm looking it up right now. $503 million deal. 10-year. It's a record-breaking 10-year deal with the Chiefs. Make it the largest contract in sports history, all of sports, Steve, not just football. And then I saw a.
Is he that good? I mean, is he that good?
He's great. He is great. He's really good. But how? Here's my fear with being a huge NFL fan that I am. He can only get this crazy contract because the NFL makes so much money, obviously, right? Because I was just talking to somebody about this today. If you had a family of 5, say you got a wife, two adults, whatever gender, I don't care, and 3 kids, or say you've got 2 kids and one of the kids brings it. You take 5 people to an NFL football game, it's going to cost you about $500 just to go to an NFL football game. So
that's crazy.
Obviously, what NFL has done in their decision to try to appease both people, both sides of the current conflict we have in the country, with playing 2 national anthems, which to me it's sad because I personally wouldn't want to denigrate this black national anthem, but we only have one national anthem. We can't have one for everybody, because then that separates everybody. It does the opposite of what people complain about. It segregates. So, but a lot of people. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Sorry. No. I go for it.
I was just going to say.
Streamlining.
I was. I hit a brick wall right there. I was like, was I talking about? Yeah. Welcome to the Chuck Jones Show. No, a lot of people, because of what they're doing. I mean, the kneeling thing has been pissing people off for years. And a lot of people have said, I'm done with the NFL. People that aren't really diehard fans, they were just maybe on the fringes, have said, well, I'm not watching anymore. I'm not. But a lot of people now are going to boycott. So where it would really hurt the NFL is the people that go to the games. Because, like I said, a family of 5 is going to cost $500 or $600 to go to a game.
Mm-hmm.
So if they stop going to games and the money starts dropping, Patrick can kiss that contract goodbye.
Right.
So
now, I wonder though, like for the future, like, is this just gonna keep getting bigger and bigger? To where.
Talking about the contracts for.
Yeah, because I mean, 10 years, no big deal. Oh, $500,000 like that. How much is their cap? Like that's a big amount of their salary cap.
Yeah, it is a huge amount. Huge amount.
That's just crazy.
And I remember, I don't know how long ago it was, 10 years ago when Matthew Stafford got the biggest contract in sports history, and it wasn't anywhere near $503 million. That's $500 million.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now it is 10 years. That's a long.
Right.
They basically they wanted to lock him in for the rest of his career.
Mm-hmm.
So, he's played 2 years now. I think maybe 3. I can't remember. So he'll be at 12 or 13 years. He'll still have possibly a few more years to play. Tom Brady and Brett Favre are kind of exceptions to the rule. Most players don't make it that long. But his contract, I'm not going to read the details of it, but it doesn't mean he's getting that much. Period. There's loopholes. If he gets injured 4 years from now and can't ever play again, he's not getting $503 million. He'll still get a lot. He'll still be a very wealthy man. Very wealthy.
Now, what if he gets coronavirus? Is that in the?
If he gets coronavirus, he just gets to. Speaking of the coronavirus, did you hear what the governor of Ohio has said today?
Masks are mandatory in certain counties that are level 3.
That's right. And I don't know how many counties he stipulated.
I think there were 6 or 7.
I know that
that starts at 6, so that's an hour and 20 minutes ago it started.
Oh, it actually had a time?
Yeah, 6 o'clock today.
And so you know a little bit about this. I haven't looked it up. What are the rules?
I think it's mask out in public.
So anywhere you go in public, you have to wear a mask.
So it sounds like.
What about your car?
I sure hope not.
So Butler County, Ohio is, I believe, I should look it up. Where's Butler County?
Butler. I know about the transit there. That's about it.
Butler County, Ohio.
BCRTA?
It's not. Hamilton County is Cincinnati. I can't believe that. Does Michelle and Anchor know where Butler County, Ohio is?
Probably not.
I'm going to look it up here because I'm curious.
Butler County, I'm looking at a map, and none of the cities in there, I have no idea where this is. There's 88 counties in Ohio? This is ridiculous.
It's got to be close to the counties that are required to do it. Because
did you see the video that maybe you want to play it, but the Butler County Sheriff says that I am not the mask police.
I got it lined up right now, my friend.
Do you?
I do.
Stay with WLWT.
We are committed to bringing you all of the resurces you need. We have a team of reporters out there.
I can't skip this ad, sorry.
Connecting you to the facts you need
God.
to stay safe and informed.
Turn on your ad blocker.
Tracking local developments
can't,
minute by minute.
Here's the breakdown county by county.
One of the things I hate about streaming, like with you on the same computer, is I can't control the volume because I can mute it, but then I'd be muting you. But I got it muted, so.
Okay, good.
The sheriff of Butler County, Ohio, has this to say to his residents about the mandated mask.
Sheriff Rick Jones. I'm here today. Our phone, we're getting calls, we're getting emails, we're getting texts. The governor has, I believe, he's just completed the mandatory mask wearing for Butler County, several of the counties in the state of Ohio. It's going to be mandatory, the mask wearing. And I'm here we don't have the orders, what he's put out yet, but I can tell you this, that I want to make sure everybody understands I am not the mask police. I am not going to enforce any mask wearing. That is not my responsibility. That is not my job. People should be able to make that choices themselves. I didn't put this order out, and it's getting to the point. People are scared. People are calling and asking, do we have to wear the mask in our house, in our cars? It's getting kind of ridiculous. At this point, I believe, as the sheriff in Butler County here in Ohio, the economy is starting to try to get back to where it was. You can't go to restaurants, and at one time you were looked down on if you tried to go to church, and the churches were closed, and it's totally out of control. It should be left up to the individual if they want to wear a mask. If someone's sick, I can understand the mask wearing. But for all of us to have your temperature taken, to have to wear a mask, where is it going to stop? I've checked with some people that I know that work in the hospitals, the hospital staffs. Most hospitals in Ohio have laid people off because of this. They've laid people off. You go to the emergency room, You have to wait longer. There's people that are still not working because of it. And this makes it harder to wear these masks, and for everyday citizens that aren't sick and have no symptoms to have to wear a mask. I'm not a scientist, but I want you to know
he's not a
that the
scientist.
police are busy. Our budgets have been cut. The fire departments, everybody has less just in the past few months. This does not make it better. What you have is don't call 911 because someone is not wearing a mask.
It'll happen.
If the health departments want to control and take care of who's not wearing a mask, let them put a little yellow light on their car and they can stop people and go in. They will not like the response. People are tired, they're wore out. I think we could have done this in a different way. But make no mistake about it, I, as the Butler County Sheriff, am not enforcing any mask wearing whatsoever to the public. And my deputies will not enforce it. We've got more important things to do. It's all we can do to keep up with fighting crime, locking people up and making sure they're safe and the employees are safe. But again, I'll take any questions. I have a few questions over here. Would you like to ask me a few questions?
So I'm guessing he's probably going to get a call from the governor. I'm just guessing. I might be wrong about that.
You know what's funny though? I mean, I've seen a lot of in the past like 4 days, especially. There's been a lot of videos of people going to different grocery stores. They're not wearing a mask, and they get confronted by a person who tells them to put on a mask or be 6 feet apart or whatever, blah, blah, blah. And they flip out and start yelling and stomping. There was this 2 events happened at Costco in the past few days where a guy yelled in like the most angriest voice. He's like, I feel threatened. And he's like tense, like he's about to like punch the crap out of someone. He's like, I feel threatened. And he's like approaching this old lady who told him to put his mask on.
The guy in the red shirt?
Yeah, red shirt,
red
shirt guy. And then also at Costco, we should have a segment called At Costco. There was this old lady who had her mask on one ear, just dangling down. And they told her that she needed to put it on. She said she wasn't going to. So then she sat in the middle of the aisleway where the entrance was, and people were just walking around her like she's crazy.
Yeah, I saw that one with the guy in the red shirt. I hate some of these videos because you never see the first few minutes. Like you never get to see what happened right before whatever's being videoed.
Right.
You know? So it's like he seemed like he was being a jerk, but then on the other hand, you know, this whole mask thing, it's crazy, Steve. It's like it's all playing and it's all like coming together in this whole big storm between coronavirus and then the riots and the protesting, and it's like it's just we're turning Americans against each other over everything. You know, and the mask thing is like if I'm out in public and someone doesn't have a mask on, I don't give it 2 craps. I'm not going to, you know what I mean? I'm not going over by that person. And if we're I've never understood the whole, if you keep 6 feet apart, why do you need a mask? If you have masks, why do you got to keep 6 feet apart? And if we have masks and keep 6 feet apart, why the hell do we got to shut everything down? You know what I mean?
Right.
So it's like,
yeah.
And there's still information coming out every single day that contradicts previous things. Even the CDC saying, you know, still saying the mask thing isn't the end all be all. You know, why do we even still have homeless people still alive if this virus is so bad? Because they ain't wearing masks and they ain't washing nothing. You know, and they live on the streets. So,
was that you that was telling me that there's 2 groups of people, like the maskers and
we have maskers and free facers.
Free facers.
I think it was free facers. I saw it on Facebook. Somebody posted something, and it said, you know, the difference between maskers and free facers is free facers don't make maskers feel like crap for wearing a mask, whereas maskers make free facers feel like crap for not wearing a mask. So I mean, I know in my personal experience, before the riots started, I went to the grocery store and 50% or more were wearing masks. After the riot,
50%?
50% or more. It was a high percentage, more people were wearing them than not wearing them. After the riots, 10% wearing masks. This is my personal experience at my local grocery store, because people saw that going on, and nobody in the media was saying anything about how all these people are trying to kill each other because of coronavirus. They gave it a pass, and then turned right around as soon as Trump had his first rally and said, everybody's going to die because all these people with no masks on. So the American people are fed up, just like that sheriff said. We're fed up. We're done with the lies and the hypocrisy of the media. And I believe the coronavirus is a real disease, and it can really hurt people, but it's no worse than a lot of the diseases we already have. And, I think I read a thing like over 1 million people a year die of tuberculosis. So I think that was the statistic. I might be off there, but so I don't know if we're still live anywhere, because my little thing here that shows the video for Facebook is saying, sorry, we're having trouble playing your video. So hopefully we're still live.
You look good on YouTube.
So Brian said he heard Cracker Barrel will soon be the honky bucket. That's racist. I'm offended.
Bucket.
I'm offended on different levels. The honky bucket.
Honky bucket.
Honky bucket. Well, I heard Cracker Barrel was just going to try and be more barrel and less cracker. That's what I heard.
You need more barrels.
Yeah. So Vinny logged in on Podbean, and then he tried to call, and we were right in the middle of a conversation, Vinny. So I'm sorry I didn't answer. If you want to call back, I'll try and answer.
Cousin Vinny.
I'll try and answer that. So I'm
Michelle
always a
says
little.
We're good.
I'm always a little suspicious when someone logs in on Podbean and immediately calls. Like, they don't even know what we're talking about. You know what I mean? Unless they were somehow listening before without logging in, that's possible. So maybe if Vinny calls back, I'll answer this time, Vinny, if you call back. If we're not, Kendra joined us on Facebook. If we're still live on Facebook, somebody give me a heads up.
Give me a hell yeah.
I'm gonna ask that question. So
we're good on YouTube though. Michelle said we're good.
Cool. And that was one I was worried about.
Is the YouTube?
Yeah. Because it keeps saying that it's in an error, but what did I do? I just screwed up my whole. Oh my gosh. My whole. I went on the wrong keyboard to search for something, and then I looked up at my Trello, and it's almost all gone. I don't know what I did.
What did you do?
Somehow I collapsed them. I got to figure out how to uncollapse them. Oh my gosh! Now I don't know what to talk about. Jeez.
You collapsed your whole thing?
Yeah. When I look at it now, it just shows each title, and it says how many cards are in it, and that's it. My gosh! I can bring it up on my phone though. Steve, what do you got going on, man?
Well, I'll tell you what. I just came from a funeral this past weekend.
I didn't want to say anything. I'm sorry. I didn't want to say anything about why you weren't here last week because I wanted to let you.
Oh yeah, no problem. I trust you, but I don't trust that Storm guy.
I didn't tell him anything. I told him nothing.
But yeah, I realize how often now family say that they don't see you. And basically what that means, I've learned this recently. I've learned that means that you need to come to them. And that's the reason why they don't see you. But the only way for them to see you is if you come to them. Does that make sense?
Yeah, so they're saying they're trying to make you feel bad for not keeping in contact with them, but they're kind of making it known that it's your responsibility.
Yes. Right. So I live about an hour away from most family members, if not more than that. So there's no way I'm gonna jolly myself on up there, and I'm just in the neighborhood. I drove an hour to come see you, and I said to one, I'm usually very timid because it's a funeral and I don't want to talk back or whatever. But this time I was like, yeah, let's meet halfway sometimes. Definitely. I'd love to hang out with you. Let's meet halfway. And they're like, yeah, we're still at the same address. So when you're ready to come by, we'll still live at the same place. And I was like,
they forgot about the halfway thing already.
I was like, so you you don't want to really meet. You just want me to come to you.
Right.
And they never call or anything like that. It's all it's just so funerals are always weird for me and my family, just me personally because of that. But
right.
Also what was weird is that they were live streaming it. I was like, man,
because of Corona?
Huh?
Because of Corona?
Yeah, I guess so. But I mean, I imagine it's probably a new thing now. Like they probably have that as an additional package or something like that. I'm like, could you imagine watching a funeral from home?
Another way for the funeral homes to make more money.
Right, exactly. But like everything's digital now. Like they're the obituaries online, and you can post your condolences on their obituary wall, like a Facebook wall or something like that.
Yeah.
And you could post video messages, and it'll stay there.
Hey, dying ain't what it used to be.
I was like, this is just really weird. Like, I mean, these funeral homes, I mean, you're always going to be in business, but you don't have to like get all techie, and people are like spilling out their guts on this online obituary, which is pretty weird. But
well, I know those.
Yeah,
that stuff's been around longer than Corona because I've seen that a few years back. The wall and all that virtual stuff. The live streaming, I'm guessing, is new because I can't imagine anybody wanting to do that prior to all of this going on.
Yeah.
So
it was a long couple of days. The funeral. So I always have to tell my wife that Black people do funerals different than white people. No racism intended. It's just the truth.
Right.
I've been to both. And so she didn't understand that they have a viewing of the body the day before the funeral. And that's like, you're looking at probably 7 hours typically.
That's kind of a standard thing, isn't it?
Not necessarily, because what I've seen is that they would do the viewing the same day as the funeral just beforehand.
I'm trying to remember the funerals I've gone to because we call it calling hours.
Yeah, they don't call it that. But yeah, that's kind of the same thing.
I think you're right. I think most of the time it's the same day.
Yeah.
But I have.
But then the next day is the wake before the funeral.
Now, isn't a wake? I always thought of when someone says a wake, I think of it as not a race thing, but a religious thing. Like certain types of religions have wakes. Who has wakes? That's a good question.
I'm not sure. That's always been the custom of it being called the wake. And that's, I mean, what happens typically is just there's some sad music playing and people are coming in. It's basically like a second viewing of the body.
Right.
And then what happens is when the wake is done, they close the casket. Because it's always open casket, unfortunately.
So here you go. Traditionally, the wake is a Catholic ceremony based in part on the Celtic traditions of Ireland. Is your family Catholic?
No. Far from it.
Huh.
But maybe we adapted.
It's just a name. It's just a word.
Yeah.
So
I got there the day of the wake and funeral because I was a pallbearer. I got there 8:50 and I didn't get home until about 7:30, 7:45. So it was like almost a 12-hour day. Because after the funeral, you have to go to the cemetery, which was 30 minutes away. And then we went back to my grandfather's church, which was 30 minutes away, and had the repass, which is basically a bunch of people.
The repass?
Crowded in. Yeah, it's like a food time.
Oh.
And we're all crowded together in a hot church.
What is the church? What denomination? Protestant?
Pentecostal.
Pentecostal, okay. So
yeah.
Some people call that Christian, but
sure.
Basically it's the Pentecostal side or Protestant side of the aisle.
Sure.
So I don't think what you described isn't a lot different than what I've experienced in my life. So I don't know that the race thing. Obviously, Obviously, African American people do things differently.
Yeah,
but
I've been to one funeral out of all the white funerals I've been to. There are usually no casket there, or it's closed casket, or it's the cremation base thing.
Right, the urn.
There was one, the urn. There was one wedding or funeral I went to, and it was an Italian.
That was a Freudian slip.
Italian funeral that was open casket. I was surprised.
Most of the funerals that I went to growing up were open casket. A few were closed, and a few were nothing at all. No casket. So depends on. Just depends on I think your background.
Mm-hmm.
So you didn't have to get racist about it.
I'm sorry. That's just what I've experienced, and I know for sure, without a shadow of a doubt in my mind, that light me on fire when I die, baby, because open casket funerals are traumatizing.
They are. I've never understood that. Never, ever, ever, ever in my life understood why. Why do I want my kids' last memory of their grandpa to be his rotting corpse?
Exactly. Exactly.
And no matter what they do to the body, it still looks like a dead body.
Yeah. And it's weird.
Yeah.
And closing the casket, that whole part, that's just weird.
Yeah.
How about having that etched in your brain for the rest of your life?
We've come through different people in different societies throughout history needed to deal with death in a different way, the grief or whatever, what they needed to move on. And I guess at some point it was a standard thing that people needed to see the body and needed to see the casket, needed to see it go in the ground. I never needed any of that. And I didn't want my kids to have to deal with that either. I would rather their last memory of their grandparents be at least when they were alive, you know what I mean?
Right.
And stuff.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, I have memories in my mind of my grandparents' rotting corpse in a box, in a fancy velvet or silk lined box, and that's my last memory of them. And I would have done it differently, but I was a kid. So.
Oh, yeah.
So
definitely would have.
Yep.
So yeah, that was my weekend. Funerals are weird, and not gonna do that for mine. Gotta make sure to put that in the will.
So enough of that death talk. Jeez, wow, you're really bumming me out here, Steve. I'm kidding.
Not bumming you out.
I'm
I
kidding.
just told you what happened to me last weekend.
I'm kidding.
And then I had to go to a wedding. That's why I got confused. I had a wedding on Sunday.
Weddings and funerals.
Yep, they go hand in hand.
So our what's the word I'm looking for? Our most high condolences from the Chuck Jones Show to you for the passing of your.
Those are very high. Thank you.
Of your grandfather. And
thank you.
Was that your paternal or maternal?
I don't know what that means, but it was my mom's grandpa.
Your mom's father, right?
Yes.
Your mom's father? Or your mom's grandfather?
My mom's father. Okay. My grandfather.
Right.
So that's maternal.
Yep. So
yes, last one. So now I can get. Now I don't.
You don't have any grandparents left.
Yeah, because that would be a great grandpa. Yeah, nope. Won't have a great grandpa whenever I have small ones.
So you don't have any grandparents alive.
Nope.
And you're how old?
29.
29. You're exactly 10 years older than I was when my last grandparent died. I was 19 when my last grandparent passed away. My father's father died when he was 3, so I didn't even know him. Never met my paternal grandfather. That's on your father's side is paternal. Little English language lesson for you here.
Paternal.
Maternal would be your mother's side. Paternal would be your father's side. But anyway, I'm such a condescending ass. Anyway, so
stop it.
Okay, I will.
Get some help.
Yeah, and so I had a step grandfather I didn't really know very well, and he died when I was young too. And then my mother's parents died when I was in my early teens, and my last grandparent was my paternal grandmother, who died when I was 19. So,
man,
yeah, I don't really have much memories of grandparents. So I was born late.
You probably don't have that much more to go then.
I'm looking at maybe 30 years. 35. Both of my parents were 6 years apart. My dad was 6 years older than my mother. but they both died at 78.
Oh, they both did.
Yeah, so he died at 78, and then she lived another 8 years or 6 years.
Oh, wow.
6 years, and then died at 78 as well. So I'm planning on 78.
Wow.
Planning on 78, which would give me, I can't do the math right now, but
30.
I'm 51.
6 years, 7 years, 37 years.
37 years left. Jeez, that seems
And
like
you can start a whole new career by then.
that seems like forever.
It does.
The way things are going right now, I don't plan on living. I plan on dying in the next few years.
The next few years.
Yeah, because of course I've talked about in the last couple of weeks. I'm full blown conspiracy now. I'm full
I've
blown
noticed.
crazy nut job gun toting conspiracy guy, and I know it. At least I'm acknowledging it.
Mm-hmm.
But what we're doing right now in the country, these are birth pangs of a civil war, a full blown combat. One side must vanquish the other. Because our first civil war didn't just like one day everybody go, hey, you know what? Let's have a civil war. You want slaves? We don't want you to have slaves. Let's fight about it. You know, it took decades of different events and different political things going on to wind up to it, right? So I cannot say where we're at on that timeline. I feel like we're still some years out from that if we don't change course, which is always possible. Seems unlikely at this point, but I'm still holding out hope. But I don't want my kids to fight it. I want to fight it. So I would really like for this thing to get going. Let's get this going because I'm not getting any younger. Right. So I'd rather go out there and fight and bleed and die so my kids don't have to. So your kids don't have to, Steve,
That's right.
If you ever decide to have kids.
All 7 of them.
All 7 kids, huh? What'd your wife think about that?
Now, but see, at least you're not full conspiracy theory as far as like you're going to build a bunker. We talked about that. You're not going bunker.
No, it's a bunker's. I don't think this isn't the kind of thing where people are going to be coming to my house. It could be. I mean, if I lived in the city right now, I'd be getting out. I'd get the hell out. If you lived in a big city, you almost have to, because, I mean, they're the cops. I saw an article today about how many New York City cops are retiring and bailing. That place is going to be a war zone more than it is now coming up here the next year, unless something changes, which it ain't. They defunded the police by like $1 billion.
Jeez.
Insane. It's New York City, and all these big cities are going through the same thing. But I don't. The bunker thing. You know, I just don't see. It's like a horde of people trying to get in my house here and where I live. You know what I mean? It's just. There's going to be. You're going to get recruited to join a militia or a part of the armed forces that's fighting against the other side. I know it seems crazy, doesn't it? Doesn't seem possible. Doesn't seem possible, but so much stuff has happened. So much stuff has happened in the last couple months that I said, this isn't possible. This can't be happening. But it did. It is. And it sucks. And, you know, got to keep your head above water. It's just one of those things that you either got to be completely ignorant of it and just live your life, or you got to really pay attention and be ready. So, like I said, Steve, you can just live your life. You don't need to pay attention and just come on over, you know. If your apartment gets overrun, I got the 3 B's, baby. Bullets, bandages, and beans.
Oh, I thought you were going to say beer.
That's the 4 B's.
Yeah.
There you go.
I'm okay with that. I had some, I'm going to get that tonight. I forgot about that. A friend gifted me some vanilla cream Kentucky bourbon barrel beer.
Ooh.
And it is dynamite.
I think I have had that. Does it have like a horse on the label?
Yeah.
Like the label kind of makes it look like a barrel a little bit.
It's yellow label.
Okay.
But yeah, there's a horse on it.
Yes, I have had that. It's really good.
It changed my life.
Yep. Changed your life.
I'm usually a Bud Light Lime, Bud Light Orange, Blue Moon kind of guy. But now I think I'm a vanilla cream Kentucky bourbon barrel ale kind of guy.
That's kind of a long title. It's a crazy long title.
Yep. Yep. So that's what I'm gonna sip on tonight. You didn't have your Jameson tonight.
Jameson. You mean Jack?
Jack.
Yeah. I like Jameson too. Don't get me wrong.
Excuse me.
Don't get me wrong. Before I got home from work, and it's stupid hot here in Ohio. I mean,
it is.
I think we're in a biblical drought. I've never seen it go this long without raining in Ohio. It hasn't rained for like 7 days. I know it rained some places yesterday, but it didn't rain anywhere in my house. So it hasn't rained since like Tuesday of last week, and it's screaming hot. So I got home and I'm like right in the pool.
Yeah, dude.
And then I got me a Bud Light Lime, drank that in the pool.
There you go.
Yeah. And then I was a little bit hungry, so I made me a burger. And I sat on the deck, and it got a little cloudy, which was perfect. So the sun wasn't beating down. So I sat on the deck, didn't need to worry about shade. Had my burger, had a twisted tea, finished the burger, and then I had a nice little cigar with my twisted tea. That's why I came.
Damn.
I came into the show a little bit more relaxed than normal.
Wow.
So
you should do that every Wednesday.
I might. Yeah, I should. And unfortunately, we lost Facebook, and I wish I could fix these problems. I told you earlier today, I was like, I'm so tired of the technical problems, and I just don't know why they keep happening. I should be able to stream to just 2 freaking places.
Right.
But maybe I can't. Maybe it's just not in the cards.
Believe in the heart of the cards.
And we've quadrupled our followers on Twitter because of my activity there. There's a huge movement on Twitter for people that are quote unquote patriots that are standing up against the left and all that's going on in this country. So they're following each other. So
that's good.
Just about everybody I followed's followed back, and it's pretty fun. But I'm thinking, well, of all those people, some of them are going to know that we do a show, and they might listen, they might log in. But I hate to leave Facebook because we got people on here. I mean, we got more people on Facebook now than we do YouTube.
That's crazy.
We had Jeff and Brian and Kendra and Lita. That's 4 people on Facebook tonight, and Gloria and Michelle weren't even there. So I gotta fix it. And I say this every week, right? But
that's all right. Hey, when it rains, it snows. It's just know that in a week I'm getting a car that has 263,000 miles on it.
Which car is that? Is it what? 263,000. You serious?
Yeah. I'm getting rid of my wife's poopy car. And I'm giving her the Rogue, and I'm taking the 263,000 mile car.
What car is it?
The Honda Element.
Honda Element with 263,000 miles.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
I just need it for 3 years. That's it. Just gotta last 3 years.
When are you going to get that classic car you're talking about?
Well, here's the thing. The red car, the Impala, that my wife's poopy car, I'm going to trade with the guy who has my Pontiac Ventura. And I'm going to just, hey, take this, and this will pay off the rest of that, and also pay for the engine that we need to put in that we're putting in this weekend. So it's a fair trade, and I can get rid of this terrible, poopy car.
I can't wait till you get that car.
And it breaks down immediately? Or which car are you talking about? Sorry.
The classic one. The classic one.
Oh, yeah. I can't wait either.
No,
the
Honda, it's going to be a nightmare.
The transmission in this weekend.
This weekend, I'm picking up my AR-15.
Ooh.
Yep, I'll have that on Saturday.
Now, here's something that you would probably enjoy. I've been watching videos of people practicing their Second Amendment right. And apparently AR-15 is a type of pistol.
They make an AR-15 base that's smaller. It still looks like a AR-15. It's just the barrel's shorter.
Yeah, so these guys are Second Amendment activists. And they're walking around with their AR-15s, just walking, no problem. And each and every single video I've seen, they get like 5 cops on them, 6 cops, and they're like, this is an open carry state, and they're like, well, people are calling us, so Like they did basically use that to take the gun away from the person because people were calling them. And
They can't do
complaining.
that. They can't do that.
I know, and that's where the verbal arguments happen.
Was this in Ohio?
No, this is all over, man, dude. Facebook, the algorithm, I watch like 2 or 3 videos in a row like that, and every time I go to the videos tab, they just keep showing me more and more Second Amendment activist videos.
Damn Facebook.
And I keep watching them.
Yeah.
It's like people are just that scared.
Twitter has done that to me with people getting their ass kicked.
Really?
Or getting run over. I'm telling you, there's so much stuff going on right now with people just randomly getting their ass kicked for no reason. It's scary. It's scary. In fact, the one thing it's done to me, and maybe we'll wrap the show up with this because we're at an hour. The Facebook counter is still going like we're live, but we're not. But at least it shows me where we're at. But one thing that's made me sad that's happened in me because of what's going on is before all this went down, when I was out in the public or whatever, obviously you see somebody, you recognize their ethnicity. You know what I mean? It's not like you don't know that someone's black or someone's Arab or someone's white. But for me, Chuck Jones, it wasn't the first thing that I thought about. It didn't register as any reason to care. Right? Unfortunately now, because of all the random violence being committed against white people, and not just by black people, but a lot of random violence is being committed on white people by black people because they feel empowered.
Yeah.
They're assholes. You know what I mean? And it doesn't matter what skin color they are. There's assholes of every race, color, and creed. But they're taking advantage of what's going on to think that they can just randomly come up to somebody and kick their ass. But unfortunately now when I'm out and about, especially with my family, I have to recognize that that guy is black because I have to be on guard that there is a higher percentage chance that he might try and commit violence against me and my family. And that makes me sad that I have to do that. Now, if I know you, anybody else I know, I don't think that because I know you. Nothing's changed in how I view you or how I view other.
You're just more aware and your perception is increased.
Well, and to clarify, if I'm out with my family, I'm suspicious of everyone. Every single person. I have to be protective of, especially if I'm by myself, it's a little different. But what I'm saying is because of all this that's going on now, I don't have any choice. It's made me have to acknowledge race, which is sad. I wish these people that are doing all this could understand things like my son and daughter, but especially my youngest daughter. We raised our kids and we didn't even talk about race. I always thought the best way to end racism is to stop talking about it. Now, I understand that can't end racism for you if you go somewhere and there's a redneck that's a racist and he's going to give you shit about it. Sorry. Dang it, this is a family show.
Oh, come on. Family show.
I'll beep that out. What I'm saying is, what was I saying? Welcome to the Chuck Jones Show. Oh, no, I was just saying, my youngest daughter, my wife started a home daycare when she was born. And one of the families that came at our home daycare was African-American. We loved them dearly. They were good friends. And so my daughter was raised from birth to kindergarten with African-American kid here every day. His name was, I can't believe I can't remember his name. Dang it. Anyway, God, I'm getting old.
Enrique Iglesias.
Caleb. I'm sorry. Caleb. His name was Caleb. Loved the kid. He's a great kid. But so my daughter literally went to school not knowing that racism was a thing. She knew Caleb was darker, had dark skin, and she had light skin, and he was a boy, and she was a girl. You know what I mean? To her, that was all it was. Well, when she started going to school, she started getting mistreated by African Americans. And I never forget the day she said, they're racist against me. And she was just learning what racism is. So for her, it was something anybody could do now, And that's sad. To me, that's at the heart of all these problems we have with race. It's little kids aren't racist. None of them. They don't know what that is. We teach them that. And that's on every person in this country, including black people. If we would just teach our kids not to do that. Now, I know that's maybe easier said than done if you're growing up in the inner city and you've had problems with white people or whatever, the cops or whatever. I'm not saying I know everything, but you know what I'm saying.
I know what you mean. Yeah, it makes sense.
And
it's rough, man. Yeah, it's a crazy world, and
I kind of was in a bubble those years with her. Like I wasn't paying a lot of attention to what was going on in the world. So, like I said, as a parent, I thought, well, the best way for me to put my 2 cents in or my participation in ending racism is to not teach my kids about racism. And maybe that was wrong. Maybe that was incorrect. Maybe I should have taught them more because I had to then kind of teach them about or tell them about what African Americans have went through, and they're just kind of reacting to something that they've been taught or something that they've seen or whatever. Because we're talking about kids here. We're talking about junior, middle school or whatever. But anyway, that was kind of a heartbreaking thing for me to realize that not teaching them about racism didn't work. Because now she's conflicted. She's like, I don't understand why I'm being treated poorly by the black girls at school. I didn't do anything, so. But anyway, on that note, we should probably end this gig.
In the gig.
So, anything else? Anything else you got going? I was going to play out this, you remember that song I wrote and it had Martin Luther King quotes in it?
I think so.
Yeah, I played that a while back. I sent that out. That song is out with the lead guitar player putting some lead tracks on it. So it's not ready yet, but I was going to play it. But I'll play it next week or another time, or I'll wait till it's done. How about that?
Yeah, that sounds good.
But anyway, I got to get another Stab for Nothing song out there. I got plenty of them ready. Some of them just need lead parts that, it's hard to motivate people to do stuff for free.
Right. You can bribe them with vanilla cream. Kentucky bourbon barrel ale.
Yeah. So, all right. So I guess we'll call this one quits for this week. Thanks for listening to the Chuck Jones Show, and here's the outro. Sorry to Vinny, who never called back in. You've been listening to the Chuck Jones Show. Go to chuckjoneshow.com to listen, download, stream, and subscribe. This podcast is available on iHeartRadio, Spotify, Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, and anywhere you listen to podcasts. Follow us on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook at Chuck Jones Show. We're live every Wednesday at 7 p.m. Eastern in the United States. You can join us on the Podbean app. Until next time, adios, amigos.
And once again, asking for your financial support.
All right, thanks for listening on Podbean. Vinny, yeah, you could have called in, sorry. Anyone else who just joined, we're live here every week at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. This is a general talk show. We just talk about current events, so please join us next week or go to chuckjoneshow.com and listen to the show anywhere that you listen to podcasts. Bye. So
general talk show, I like that.
General talk. So YouTube's still telling me there's an error, but it worked fine. Facebook didn't tell me.
Perfectly fine.
Facebook didn't tell me any errors. It just stopped doing it. And we had a lot of people listen.
I commented on the video. I said hello. So I mean, you were there.
I don't know. Maybe it. Like I said, it's still counting down. So I'm going to go. Not live there anymore. Let's end that. So, all right. Thanks for listening on YouTube, Michelle and Anchor. Appreciate it. And we'll see you next week. Maybe. It's always a maybe.